motion, Juan's got the second, all in favor? Okay, mayor's report. This past Saturday at Euro Everett Park, the Magee Chamber of Commerce, we had the America 250 celebration. I was unable to attend, but it looked like it was a very successful event. I'd like to thank Susan Walker and the Chamber of Commerce Board and everybody that contributed to that to make that successful. Also, June the 23rd at the community house, I believe I'm correct, house, correct me if I'm wrong. We have a prayer breakfast from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Public is invited to that. Also, are we still doing the retirement reception? Okay. Jimmy Zilla, retirement reception on that same day, June 23rd, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the community house. So, the public is invited to that as well. And then last but not least, June 25th, we have the 4th of July parade and street fair. That's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There will be a parade at 6 p.m. There will be a vintage 601 band, food trucks, face painting, axe throwing, kid zones, and much more. So everybody please plan to attend that. I think I left anything else out. Did I leave anything else out?
I don't think so.
One last thing, July the 4th, fireworks at the sports place. That will start at 9 p.m. Work projects, I don't have anything to report out on the work projects, so we need to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Susie's got the motion,
Second.
Alice got the second, all in favor? Okay, is there any old business? Any new business?
I wanted to ask about the breakers and power sources at Euro Everett. I understand there were some issues this past weekend with the event. Maybe upgrade the breakers and make sure all the plugs are working and make sure that the power's not out.
Yeah, I actually got a text message concerning that this afternoon, so I'm looking at that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tripping the breakers when they blow the shit.
That's not good. All right. Over in your packet, you should have 3 special event applications. Under new business, we'll go ahead and get those if y'all want to do that. Okay, so we'll start with trunk show, Magee's Miss Hospitality. The reception and trunk show, July the 7th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the community house.
I make a motion to approve.
Sue's got the motion, Paul got the second, all in favor? And the next one is Mission Magee Youth Kickball Tournament. The organization named First Baptist Church of Magee. I want to hold a youth kickball tournament at the Sportsplex. It'll be on July the 15th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Got the motion. Alice got a second, all in favor? And then the last one is Mission Magee Prayer Night, First Baptist Church. Prayer night and worship service, July the 12th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that will be in the community house parking lot.
Make a motion.
Allison got the motion. We got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anything else under new business? All right, Susan Walker.
Good evening.
Thank you for being with us.
I'm here tonight because on June 26, 1956, there was a very important meeting that took place in Magee. It was the organizational meeting of the Magee Chamber of Commerce. The organizers met that evening and decided that the purpose of the Magee Chamber of Commerce was to advance the commercial, industrial, and civic interests of Magee and its trade area. And that still is in the bylaws today as the purpose of the Chamber of Commerce. The majority of those bylaws that were adopted in 1956 still stand true today with just a few minor adjustments. For example, one adjustment is the dues back in 1956 were at a base rate of $2 per month. But tonight I stand before you on behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire chamber to ask you as the city leaders to make a proclamation on June 26, 2026, the Magee Chamber of Commerce Day in Magee for our 70th birthday. Second.
I got the motion. There's a second. Alice has a second. All in favor?
And, do I have that? Do I just bring it back to you to sign, or you'll sign it tonight?
Happy chamber birthday.
We have a week-long celebration that's coming, so,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Public Works, getting ahead of myself, and be back up. Surplus police vehicle, we've got two 2010 Tahoe vehicles that need to be surplus.
I make a motion to surplus
There you go.
You want to advertise for those?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll need the two VIN numbers, John will have those, and then we'll go in the paper together, the same advertising.
Yes.
I make a motion, we do, we run the advertisement.
Susie's got a motion. Paul got a second, all in favor?
Declare surplus.
Second, I'll be the same one.
Declare surplus.
John, I've got the VIN numbers here. Okay, next, Barge Engineering, Randy Hutchins. Is that right, your last name?
Yes, sir. Pretty close. I'm here tonight to, I guess, present and see if there's any questions about the FAA grants for the airport project. First of all, let me say, I apologize, I know there was some confusion at the last meeting, and so I spoke to the mayor since then, and he requested I come down, and I wanted to come down here and see if there was anything I could clear up. Give you a little bit of information, just so you're aware. So the grant that's being requested is, it's actually two grants, but it's one project. It's the master planning for the airport. So we call it an airport layout plan, but basically it's master planning for the airport. We generate a 20-year development plan for the airport, and then about every 8 to 10 years that gets renewed. The current one's about 11 years old, 12 years old, something like that. So the grants that are being requested come from the FAA, Airport Improvement Program, and the, I guess it's part of the bipartisan infrastructure law that was passed back under the Biden era. And so, because there's kind of two sources from FAA, there's two grants that go with that. So, the total of the grant being requested is $250,000. I'm sorry, $252,330, of which $239,713 is federal, 63, 6,308 is state funding, and the local share, it would be $6,309. It's a 2.5% grant for local share. It's a 95, 2.5, 2.5. I do have the two applications here tonight for consideration, and we did contact FAA after the last. There's a little bit of urgency with these. They need these tomorrow. We did call and got a little grace from FAA. I did speak to the Ms. Wesley. Can we pronounce your name, Ms. Wesley? We spoke after before this. I think we got some contractual things ironed out. I don't know if you have anything.
Well,
you
they
want
have
address.
to be approved by the president of the contract before that's done. And master service contract.
Yeah, okay. So there is, yes, so there's a contract.
Let me give them a background. Apparently in the dates at the top of that contract, I see it. Apparently in 2019, there was an agreement entered into between the city of Magee and Barge Engineering, a master service agreement for professional services. No one, when we were presented, or the mayor was presented the application to pay for the beacon light and then the new project, or whatever it is that they're about to start, we asked if there was a contract, as normally there is, and they couldn't find a signed contract. We went through the minutes from 2019. The mayor had minutes reviewed, and we couldn't find anything proving the contract. So if you want to go forward with these applications today for the money from the FAA and Park and State, you need this contract approved tonight. I have looked at it. I've written all over it, but I did make a change because initially this contract defined the city for 5 more years. Every time you enter into a work project, it binds you for 5 more years. That would bind successive boards. So we changed this master services contract a few minutes ago and limited it to these two projects, the beacon light and the whatever the other project is.
Master plan.
The master plan. So it is indigenous just to these projects. I've approved it for that, if y'all want to look at it. But you do need to approve this, then.
So that contract costs, we sign that.
This contract just lays out the terms between the parties.
There's no money involved.
It does talk about paying them, it talks about termination, it talks about the length of the services, but the actual money, what they will be paid is governed by these applications. And there are work project applications, scope of work attached to these applications, which we looked at, and also Brett looked at it as well. I don't know if y'all listen.
So hard dollars, we're on the hook for about $6,500 in this project. This contract obligates us for those two projects, right? The beacon along with the master plan.
Correct.
And
The beacon project will be reimbursement
Yeah.
for the 20 some odd.
Which we've already exhausted, we've already spent that.
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the engineering services, their fees come from the grant money, not the city, correct?
95%.
And where are y'all located?
Our corporate headquarters are in Nashville. I'm out of Memphis.
So this would,
What it is you have already expended 23,000 and change for the beacon light. The FAA grant will only reimburse if it is at 25,000. So they included the second project to to get you over that 25,000 threshold. Now, you're way over it now. But that was the reason that the projects were tied together. And that was the reason when it was first sent to me, weeks ago, I asked if there was a contract.
So, my question is, what if we wanted one engineer to do everything? Are we locked into March?
You're locked into barge for this project only. This contract would have locked you in, you know, for 5 years, but I hope you don't mind, but I do know I really changed that. And it's to only apply to this project.
And this will allow the city to be reimbursed.
It will reimburse the 23,000 and change for the beacon light, and then, but you'll have another project
Let's make a motion to move forward.
and adopt the agree to the professional medical services.
Jerry's got the motion. Sue got a second, all in favor?
John, I'm not gonna.
Is this motion just for the
Just for the contract.
So we need another motion for
For the
And applications.
applications. And you might want 2 motions, because it's 2 applications.
2 applications.
I'll make a motion for the master plan application.
Jerry's got the motion.
Second.
Allison got the second, all in favor?
John again.
And now we need one for the beacon lights. All right, I make a motion that we approve the contract for beacon lights.
Allison got the motion.
Sue got the second.
Sue got the second, all in favor?
John again.
Is there anything else?
Thank you for coming and
You're welcome. You're welcome,
answering
sir.
all these questions.
You need these?
Well, that's what we
Or you-
I've looked at them.
Let me take that and make a copy.
You got these changes made on it, huh? Oh, you made the changes.
She wrote it down. I was like, how you do this?
Okay.
I was gonna go resource review, see what those previous ones.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You have to get that.
Yes, it's not 6 times project.
One of the things that are being signed is a paperwork reduction act. I just think that's rather all right.
And you may want to initial where I had marked things.
You get you a stamp there.
I got one, I probably should have probably.
Yeah.
You're right, you.
All right. I appreciate you working with us. Being available to discuss.
Thank you for being here with us. Quiet. I'm gonna go get copies.
Yeah.
So we won't have
Next on the agenda is Public Works. Tim is out. And you got a report. Do y'all have any questions on Public Works? I'd like to try to answer.
Do we have the mosquito? What? The mosquito.
Mosquito. We do.
You know, it's working for a while.
Yeah, it's up and All right, Police Department, Dennis is at a conference this weekend on the coast in y'all's packets.
I'll leave you that in the red folder. He called me earlier and he said there was another request or something.
Yeah, they've got all that.
That was it.
In y'all's packets board, you see that you got a hiring request for an officer that is part-time already working. You want to bring him on full-time.
Is that maybe on the application?
We're gonna have to go into executive anyway, so y'all can wait and do it then.
Yeah, let's just do that.
So we don't have to call it out.
Okay. And then on, there is a training, intervention training, crisis intervention training. He's wanting to send two of his investigators to on June the 22nd to June the 26th. In law. Training is already no cost to participating agencies other than the hotel staff. Y'all should have that in your packet too.
Why are we staying,
Yeah, it's only 40.
why are we staying in hotels and anymore?
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing
I
that.
don't know, I just,
No, they
maybe
can
y'all
try.
I
watch.
don't have a problem going to training,
I
but
do.
the hotel.
Yeah,
is not
hotels, I
necessary
don't,
for that.
yeah, I don't see why they'll have to stay in a hotel in Laurel.
I make a motion we approve the training.
Still this.
Okay.
I'll
But-
second
On
that.
the,
I'll second that, but not the hotel stuff.
Okay.
all right, who's
John,
second?
you got that?
Yes.
So Wanda had the motion for the training only minus the hotel, and then who had the second? June had the second, all in favor? And then there's a proposed ordinance, Wes was not in here, but she would have to, he's proposing an ordinance for establishing a multi-family rental property safety and camera partnership program. Y'all have that, I don't have to read it all along. That will be something for consideration in the future. So he has that in packet just for records, proposed ordinance. Again, that won't happen tonight. Is there any other questions on the police department?
Has Westwood looked over this?
Yes,
Yes,
she's
she
looking at it.
Okay. So do we need to vote to put, to take the step two, the first step, or, you know, like, you have to?
I don't think so.
No, I think it's something that she's gonna have to take a look into as far
Okay.
as,
I think we're done.
I think, yeah, a deeper dive into it.
I think this is also a byproduct of a part of that new grant he's asking for. Some of those funds would go into
Go into
this,
this.
and there has to be this in place for it to fund a portion of those cameras.
Okay.
That's,
Is there anything else? Police department, fire department?
Don't have anything. Yes. Don't have anything, y'all got any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Zoning, Evan?
Good evening, y'all.
Evening.
Thank you. We had, or the zoning board rather, had a hearing on 3 issues on June 9th of last week. And so, should have information on those 3 items in your packets, 2 conditional use hearings and a zoning amendment proposal. So the first one is a proposed conditional use for a manufactured home dealership. The zoning board ultimately voted unanimously to recommend approval. However, I would recommend pausing, strongly recommend pausing, voting on that at this time. One of the zoning board members brought up that the area is likely in a flood zone, and after looking at it, it indeed is. So I'm working with emergency management designee John Hosey to get more details on that. So recommendation still stands. I would just recommend giving us a little more time, if you would, to look into that, please.
Also, be sure you know what their inventory is gonna be.
Sure, yeah, that was discussed at the hearing. I see no reason I can't mention it now. It'll include mostly new builds, some used manufactured homes.
While we're on this subject, we need to find out who owns all those mobile homes that just sit there abandoned besides the old Hudson's place down there.
Is that in the industrial park? Yeah.
Because they've been sitting there for 8 or 10 years, and
Yeah.
they need to be.
That's come up before, and I looked at it on the Simpsons. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the same person.
Oh, same.
Yeah, because
Okay.
we need to have that cleaned up.
Okay. Good to know.
Apparently, he doesn't keep his markets.
Moving forward, we have a conditional use permit for the use of an accessory dwelling unit, if you will. Board ultimately voted not to recommend approving this. However, did want to make you aware that the applicant has requested an appeal before the Board of Aldermen. And so, due to the timeline required in order to get that appeal done, I think the best date would be July 7th. If you're okay doing that, I would recommend doing it either before or at the tail end of that board meeting on July
Is that
7th.
this?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's July 7th.
July 7th, yeah. And I guess I'd like y'all's input on this, but we could do the hearing at 5 with the understanding that the board meeting would start right after.
We can do that.
Do we think 30 minutes is enough time for that?
I think so. All right, I'll make sure that that gets noticed in the paper as well as signed on the property. Finally, you will find in your packet a amendment to the Downtown Preservation District sign ordinance. This went before 2 different boards, advisory boards. Preservation Commission voted to recommend that you do adopt the change. The zoning board recommended that you do not adopt the change. This change, just to give a little bit of background on it, this proposal came forward after I met with a couple of business owners in the area with sign proposals that did not meet the current zoning regulations for this district. And the DPD district, if you're not aware for the public, is just this downtown area, this kind of niche. You can kind of feel it goes to the railroad tracks and kind of back here to City Hall, a little bit further to the fire station. So these are unique to just that district. This text was drafted by CMPDD after meeting with them, discussing this feedback. Essentially, it's more vague, but that's by design, and so more open to interpretation. And the reason for that, and my reason for supporting it, is that these signs have to go to the Preservation Commission, the Zoning Board, and the board anyway. So myself and CMPDD, we felt that that would be enough oversight, that it goes through all three of those boards, ultimately requiring a Board of Aldermen approval. That being said, the Zoning Board did want me to strongly express that they do not agree with that ordinance change.
What was their reasoning?
They feel that it's too vague. They want to add dimensional requirements, and they want time to do a special meeting to propose alternate text that they support.
I kind of tend to agree with them, it's not very specific.
I think I'd like to give the zoning board time to gather what information they feel we need to have gathered and evaluated, and then make a decision. I would like to hear what they suggest before we make a decision.
Yeah, they proposed holding a special meeting earlier than their regular once-a-month meeting this month to try to expedite that. And so I will get back with them, let them know y'all's decision, and they can get started on scheduling that.
I think I'd like to hear from them before we make a decision.
Got it.
And what's the canopy sign?
Oh God, I had a list of all of them like lined up, but there's like 10 different ones. I want to say that it is. I don't know if you've been to one of those old hotels where there's a sign that like extends out from the building. It's mounted, but it kind of like vertically juts out. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on that. I had a list in somewhere on my computer. And
Well, when we come back, just,
make sure I have that definition.
because I want to have it in my mind.
Absolutely, you got it. That being done, the only last thing I have for you is a request for an executive session for personnel issue. Thank y'all.
Evan, before you leave,
Yes.
Board, I have a letter here to read. So I have been a member of the zoning board of the city of Magee for well over 20 years. It has been a most interesting experience, and I have served with some very capable people. However, due to age and other factors, it is time for me to retire. So I therefore submit my resignation as a member of the zoning board effective June 10th, 26, which was last week. Sincerely, W.L. Kaufman, Jr., Bill Kaufman. So I'd like to thank Bill for his service, and he was actually one of my picks for the board, so I'm going to have to find somebody, select somebody else to serve in that capacity. But I do want to thank Bill Kaufman for his service.
Absolutely.
So we need a motion to accept that resignation.
I'll make a motion.
Susie's got the motion, Juan's got a second, all in favor? Thank you.
Second.
Thank y'all.
All right, facilities maintenance. Enough report on that. Guess y'all have a question? Parks?
You get him to look at them records.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to him more about that. Parks and Rec. Any questions in Parks and Rec?
The things we talked about, down here, between the tennis court, the tennis court.
We still gotta get another quote. I got it.
Okay. We just following up on that.
Yeah. And the airport, Dave?
I don't have anything
emergency management.
I don't have anything.
What's gonna be our best option to decide?
Come on up to the front,
I'll wait
come
on
on
that.
up to the front.
Oh,
We
We
can
got
hear
to
you.
do something.
my opinion on it, I would recommend a new one. Cause Jack can't find anybody to move on either. That guy went strictly to tower, so. I recommend it for the city growing the way it is. I thought put a new one up in downtown.
We've got to have some.
It'd make a lot more sense.
Do we have quotes on new ones?
I'm working on them already. I just went ahead and started on, just give us an option of time. But if we do that, that's my recommendation, to put a new one up. So we have all the bases covered. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other business, is there anything discussing other business?
I think you needed, another executive session personnel. Brett?
Well,
Yes.
Brett, do you want-
Have you already asked?
Yeah, let me, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Always.
Just quickly here, we got a few things we'll talk about executive session, personnel wise, but, you guys have your budget reports in front of you. Hey, we're getting out of the wire here on this thing, 9 months through. Cash is still holding strong, holding just over $900,000 in the general fund, so we are going to target at beginning the next fiscal year with approximately $600,000. That's gonna be within, right now, could be within about 1% of where we thought we'd be. Okay, so,
To the good or?
well, no, it ain't gonna be to the good, okay? Now, guys, we're getting to the point though inside of our budget that, no, we're not over budget in any category, but we're trending there. Okay, we're trending there. You see the categories that we're trending at, police is trending upwards just a little bit. They're still not over budget, but if you took their total budget, divided it by 9, and compared it to their actual cost to date, then yes, they are over budget. That's not what the law says you have to apply though. But we are tracking there. The only one that's probably getting close to a point of amendment is that 4th item, the public property. And if you remember, guys, that's where we did some air conditioning work and some things like that, and that's trending still. If you go back and look at your March budget comparison, we were 50,000 on track. We were on track for 50,000 overage there also. Say all that to say this: we've got about 40,000 left in that line item, so we'll probably be okay next month. But the next month, I'll probably have to bring an amendment here to give John the authority to issue checks over that original budget amount. Does that make sense? Y'all understand what I'm saying there? John gets a certain amount. Him as the clerk, if they're budgeted for 500,000 and we get to 10 months into the year and we're at 498, he can only go to 500 without the board telling him he can go any higher. Does that make sense? The rest of it is on track. Now, as an entity, we're tracking to be over budget, over $100,000. But I will say this: we're tracking. Julian, we're tracking to be, our revenue stream right now is pointing us to about 150 to 160,000 more than what we thought. Okay, but it is not trending as high as it normally is. Normally, we have around a $200,000 revenue buffer, to where if we're going to get $2 million worth of sales tax, then I'm going to project us getting 175 or 1.8. Well, I project us getting 2.8 in 2026, and by gosh, we're going to win we're on track for within $5,000 or $2.8 million worth of general fund sales tax. Okay, throw the 1% out the door. You'll see some attachments there like always. You'll see some overtime. The chief, myself, the mayor, Felicia, John, 5 of us met multiple times over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay? The question that the chief's gonna have to answer next time he's here is, I think we're tapped out on our grant. Does that make sense? The grant originally was proposed for $25,000. So once you hit that $25,000 worth of overtime, it's really not overtime, once you hit the $25,000 worth of pay toward the grant, then the grant stops. Now, there are ways to go back and do change orders and get more money appropriated to that grant before fiscal year, but I don't know where we are on that, okay? The last time we calculated, we had about $5,000 left, okay? So you'll see that we did trend a little higher this past month. Also know that we had a couple different scenarios where it required several officers at one time, okay? One of the numbers you're not seeing is when I sit down with the chief every payroll and go over his part-time pay and those kind of things. And we have a certain amount of part-time hours a year budgeted, of course, and we have a certain amount of full-time hours a year budgeted. But it all boils down to total hours. The key to the taxpayer, and this is important, this is how deep we've gotten into this thing. Over the course of the year, we want to provide about 2,000 police hours per month. Per pay period. So that's 4,000 police hours per month. Okay? That's pretty much what the budget is. What's very complicated for anyone to understand is what's the makeup of those hours. And the chief is learning that part-time hours sometimes is better than overtime hours. Does that make sense? And so he's getting a handle on that, and we do it every payroll. I come in every 2 weeks, and then I do the police payroll, and then I go in the conference room and I generate the payroll spreadsheet that compares to his budget. So I want you to know, guys, your coverage is still adequate based on what it's been in the past. You're still getting plenty of police coverage. We just got to fine-tune how we're getting that coverage. Are we getting it through extra part-time pay, which is cheaper than full-time overtime? Does that make sense? So that's the part we're navigating at the moment. At the end of the day, we got probably be emailing out a tentative budget schedule, probably within the next 15 days. I know y'all are fired up about that. Anything else for y'all? I think we're going to talk in executive session on a few things, but.
During the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Just remember, she works till 5, and I'm busy till 4. Just don't do it at 4 o'clock.
Y'all hold the key, okay?
Yeah.
Y'all hold the key.
5 o'clock is better.
What we'll do is I'll hand you those kind of tentative sheets. You guys talk amongst yourselves and figure out when those days. Now, there's some we're not going to have a choice on. We've talked about those, but most of those, and especially this year, the way the 15th lands. Remember, the 15th landed on a crazy day last year, several times. I only think once we get the first draft of the budget, we only got to come back one special time. So I don't think we have any additional once we get our workshops done. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else under other business? Okay, so we need to close the meeting.
Yeah, for clarity, the executive session is 2 for personnel, the discussion of personnel specific position, and also potential litigation, the discussion of which could adversely affect the litigating position of the city.
We also have